Hey Kingdom, in Baldur's Gate 3 almost everything is decided by a single dice roll. Roll a 20 and you land a critical hit. Roll 1 and, well, try again next turn. For most people that's just how the game works. Sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're not. But I'm Spot, and I break RPG games, so I got a question. Can I bend luck until my party crits almost every time? So today my plan is simple. I'm taking a completely normal Baldur's Gate 3 party and slowly trying to turn critical hits from lucky moments into normal outcomes. Let's see if we actually can do it. Meet our today's protagonist, Sam crit a lot. He is halfling, he is fighter, and he is lucky. That's kinda everything you need to know about him so far. Just a normal, humble guy. Sam wakes up in a weird place, and we are going to make this small dude proud of himself. So, if you're not familiar, Baldur's Gate 3 is based on D&D rules, and this means every time I want to do something, I need to roll a dice. Like here, where Sam decided to investigate weird opened egg. We roll a dice against difficulty class, and if result same or higher, it's success. And he will understand that this thing can blow up in a second. But in the next room, Sam took an elevator. Why there's elevator in some creatures' butt, don't ask me. And don't ask me why there's a brain on top of it that Sam wants to be a friend with. However, first of all he needs to roll a dice if he can save the brain from this awful body. Boom! Failure. This means Sam's skills are not enough, and there is no more attempts, since we are playing on Honor mode with only one try, and while we can affect those rolls, more important for us is to survive fight, which works by the same rules. While it's kinda hidden, if I miss, this means I rolled the dice and outcome is lower than enemy's armor class. So, as you can see, Sam is not very good at hitting targets right now. Damage is also rolled by the way, so technically if Sam hits target, he can deal 0 damage right now. Sam does not crit a lot right now, he sucks a lot. Maybe problem with the sword that's bigger than him. In reality, of course, it's just 8 points of strength and weapons that does not scale with dexterity, but who knows. At least Lae'zel saves the day and one-shots these tutorial imps. That turned out to be quite useful, since I got 2 scimitars from one of them, and they scale with dexterity. Oh, so I just rolled 20 on a dice 2 times in a row, and it's critical success, or critical hit in a combat. And that's what we are doing today. Dual-wielding double critical monster mincer, or something like this. Anyway, good job, Sam. Still, I decided that Brain Friend can come in handy for this run, so we are going back with Lae'zel and she will try to roll it once again. Oh, she's not better than Sam. Anyway, there's one more lady on the ship who can help us. However, to let her out, Sam needs to beat a bunch of brains and get the key for controller, and as always roll the dice. This time, fail can only come from me rolling 1, which is critical failure. Ooh, that was close. With our new friend, or let's be honest, girlfriend, at least in Sam dreams, we went back to Lil Brain and surprisingly, Shadowheart looked at this brain and instantly understood it, which is concerning, because that means my future girlfriend has experience with the brain damage, buffing before the fight with everything we have and going for an ultimate heist. After getting through one more dump portal, we are on arena where demons fighting squid boys. Demons are winning, but it looks like we are in a squid squad for now. However, my main goal here is this shiny thing. Flame sword in demon's hands. Normally I can steal it by defeating this bro, but since it's hardest difficulty, he got a little bit more health than me. Than my whole squad combined, to be more precise. But that's where our girlfriend comes into play. We already know she can melt some brains, and this means she can dominate and command creatures to do whatever she wants. And right now Shadowheart wants this demon to drop his sword. Oopsie, dice said no this time. But I can try once again next turn. However, this will be last time, because Command is a spell, and it is spell slots, and Shadowheart got only 2 spell slots at level 1. This sword can make wall run a lot more manageable. So let's try, And we did it. Oh yeah. Lae'zel quickly snatched it and give it to the Master Sam. Rest of this fight was accurately orchestrated performance, since Mr. Cambion can deal only 6 damage per hit, and he hit 2 times per round. I assume he will deal 12 damage on average per round. You see, I'm potato, but I'm good at math. Of course, there's a critical hits, but mostly I just took our calamari friend down to around 20 life and then let Red Boxer drop him down to 5, so Shadowheart can finish him with an awesome Firebolt for a juicy 75 experience. And now Sam will just end a bunch of demons to finally show his technical skills on this futuristic device. Of course, he failed like every time before, and this ship crashed. But that's how the story begins. Small and useless halfling that barely can hold a sword want to become a legend of Faerun and save it with his luck. By the way, I picked halfling not just for the memes, and it's not a coincidence. Actually, halflings comes pre-installed with this awesome mod, Halfling Luck, that will force me to reroll every time I hit 1. So technically it's almost impossible to roll a critical miss, but we are still on only 20 for critical hit. So let's change it. Because I smashed Squid on a ship, we already at level 2. Let's tell this to our girlfriend, she is definitely amazed, but most importantly, instead of getting more fighter levels, I decided to add multi-class right now, which allows me to become Warlock with Hexblade proficiency. Also I chose Booming Blade and Eldritch Blast as my cantrips, Shield and Armor of Agathos as my spells. Armor of Agathos, by the way, will add 5 extra life on top, which is 25% of my current total life. But also, if enemy hits me, he will take cold damage, so it's definitely one of the most broken level 1 spells that I could take. And Booming Blade... boom! It just hits hard. And if target will move, it will take extra damage, also pretty powerful skill, so now I can easily smash starting enemies while getting new friends. This beautiful blonde man, for example.
My name's Astarion.
Will gladly join forces. Going further, I found more squids lying around, and Sam definitely getting used to his new weapons, but let's make our party even larger. After going further, I found big black hole, and then... a hand? Okay, don't ask me how, but I was forced to watch Wendy's recently. I mean Wednesday. It's fine show, by the way, and I didn't knew it's Addams Family spin-off, and there's a thing in it. Few moments while I was dreaming about having this kind of friend for this run, I got one.
You were supposed to lend a hand, not take one.
But it does not count as party member, just inventory slot. So let's ask Frog if she wants to join my party.
Join me or die.
Well, I guess we need to find another friend. So, after roaming around, I found big hidden grove. Turns out goblins found it too. But then dude with a cool sword jumps and starts to smash goblins left and right. His name is Will, and I want him in my party. Mostly because all other party members already in my inventory, of course, but... fight was pretty ordinary, where Shadowheart did what she does best. Missing. Technically, my whole party follows this trend, so she's not feeling lonely. But luckily, we're not alone, and Mr. Will, with his friends, mostly managed goblins. But there's a little bit more important thing happened, that I forgot to mention. Remember, Sam became Hexblade on level 2. Well, he got ability to inflict Hexblade Curse randomly, or if necessary, he can do it manually. And what it does, lowest number we need to roll for critical hit, 219. And my goal to drop this number as hard as possible, because there is fun interaction with critical hit. It not only deals more damage, but also it forces attack to hit. So imagine enemy with enormous amount of armor class. If it's impossible to reach, only 20 will result in a hit. But if I roll crit on 4, well, all hits will technically hit and will hit hard. Anyway, I found why Will is so cool. He for some reason having fun practicing on kids, and I invited him to join forces. He agreed, but he got one condition. We need to help him find and defeat demon named Karlach. Well, it does not interfere with my main goal, so everyone greets our last member.
Excellent.
Oh my.
And we celebrate with critical success on showing our magical skills as well as perception check to understand that we are being robbed by some small guy. Sam is a grown man, but small guy also, so he was able to go through this little hole and found hideout of small red guys. They got a leader called Mole with a nice task for us: steal an idol from the center of the village where 10 druids just staring at it. Well, we'll figure out how to do it later, since I'm more interested in this gentleman over here. Meet Volo. Turns out he is my fan, and I told him a story about that goblin battle where our party was most important force for success. He was amazed and decided to go ask goblins himself. But before he left, I bought a bottle of grease. Don't ask me why, no one knows when we will need it. Volo left and we investigated surrounding area. Since Sam can talk with animals while under effect of Speak with Animals potion, he kindly asked a bear to move out of the way, but failed to convince Little Bird to move with a kind words. So instead he kindly asked Blue Jay to move with his feet. After going into main druid hub, we see Koga, a new druid leader since previous is missing, and she got some nice ideas on how to rule this place. Let's say little girl tried to steal breadstick. Well, let's feed her to this viper as the breadstick. Luckily Sam was able to stop this nonsense and found Surgeon over here. We need help of Surgeon because that's our main quest storyline, which is kinda simple. There's a worm in our eye and we need to remove it somehow. Druid surgeons probably don't know how to work with metal, so their tools looks like tools that we used with friends when we were 4. I opted out of this operation, but found another worm on the table. They call them tadpoles, by the way, and if I can't remove one, let's just add one more of them. By the way, it's really important for my critical hit legacy, more on that later, because now I need just a little bit of experience to get to the next level. Normally you would go and find some reasonable enemy to brawl and get experience from, but don't forget Sam is small, and he found a reasonable enemy. This little squirrel just lost PvP to Sam crit a lot. Maybe it's a bit sad, but we got next level, where I get Hex as next Warlock spell and put points into Organizing Blast and more importantly Devil's Sight. And I will show how broken this is very soon. But it was a long day, so I guess we can take a nap. But there's one more man in our party who's not sleeping and leaving camp for some reason. Weird, need to keep an eye on him. Next morning we met one more important person in Druid Grove, and that's a bard named Alfira. She got a bunch of squirrels that hates her songs, but when I told them a story of recent PvP, they instantly changed their mind and started to dance. That's the spirit. And you need to remember Alfira's face. It will never be the same. Why? Don't worry, nothing bad will happen to this lady. She is very important. You may notice Shadowheart is missing somewhere, because she forgot how to jump, but she is right now coming back to our party with most polite weapon. Big as Morning Star. Now I just switch into non-lethal mode and add a little bit of makeup on Alfira's face. Okay, ready for exploration. First stopping point is abandoned village with bunch of goblins patrolling here. But who cares about them when there's a chest right in the middle? Shadowheart told me she knows how to open this chest, but I hope she will be better at opening heart to me. So I just used lockpick and got my helmet. It gives movement speed at start of the battle, and since we got tiny legs, it will help to get closer to enemies, since we can't crit if we can't hit. You may ask, how the hell I'm in the middle of goblin territory and got 0 battle scratches on me? Well, it's worm inside my head. I can use power of this worm to command these filthy creatures to do whatever I want. But there was couple of fellas doing something that I can't describe, and I catch them right in the middle of this act. So they were a little bit mad, and as you can guess, I'll get a few scratches. Well, this ogre just one-shotted Sam, actually, and Astarion was the next one to fall. And we're kinda close to failure, because if all party members die, run is over. Since we're playing on Honor mod. Turns out Will was a great choice for last party member. He managed to survive wall battle, and this hairy orc blasted himself off armor of Agathos, since Will is also a warlock. And just like that, I quickly gained a little bit of experience and got more or less safely into goblin camp. Since everyone not in the best shape, it was nice place to take a long rest. But Sam got some weird dreams. Where he dreams about himself, that's pretty creepy, bro. But not as creepy as what we found in the morning. There's a weird skeleton in the camp. His name is Withers and he offered services that I could not resist. Meet most powerful creature of Faerun, Creed Eastwood. Yeah, he was old friend of Sam that never fell in a battle but slipped on a banana near the edge of the cliff. Don't eat bananas in the mountain, kids. Anyway, this skeleton arrives to the camp when we reach level 4 and he also gives another service to change classes of our party members. Creed Eastwood will replace Astarion and he is Wild Heart Barbarian with Tiger's Bloodlust. That gives him ability to apply bleeding to targets. You may not realize it now, but it will double our chances to critical hit for the whole party a little bit later. Then on level 4 I picked Great Weapon Master. That lowers chance to hit, which is kinda bad, but it adds a lot of damage on top. Will still stay as a warlock, but with Great Old One subclass for a chance to frighten enemies in place when he crits. And when you're in the same party, you will also crit a lot. Most importantly, he also gets Devil's Sight for ability to see in the darkness, Antagonizing Blast for more damage for Eldritch Blast. And now the twist, at level 3 he multiclass into Sorcerer for a Shadow Magic subclass. It's pretty fun one, but it develops later. Shadowheart will no longer be a cleric, instead she is Sorcerer with Draconic Bloodline. Don't know how she managed to hide all those skills before, but it is what it is. Cool part that this will add a lot of armor class to her, and her dragon ancestor was fire based, so she's hot. And also she takes a dip into 2 levels of warlock for dark vision as well. And let's not forget about Sam, who got level 3 in fighter with a champion subclass to get improved critical hit, so now he can crit on 19, but actually on 18 with Hexblade Curse. So we dropped our critometer a little bit again. Sadly, there is one more important thing missing, and that's the cutscene, that very important cutscene, that should arrive when I cross the bridge to Abandoned Village. Anyway, don't worry, let's buy all important stuff in Goblin Camp, mostly lotions and potions petal, but also this Bow of Awareness, that will help me start fights first, with bonus to initiative. And to not forget this important step, I'll get back to my friend Alfira. She definitely lost her mind after our last encounter. Look, she's playing on an imaginary guitar, and she definitely knows what's coming next. Now I can safely go into long rest again, and this triggers important cutscene, where Alfira should come into our camp. But since she is a little bit busy, lying knocked down of course, this lady lizard will take her place. Well, good for Alfira, since next morning Sam showed some painting skills and made awesome circle on the ground. No one willing to argue with Sam's talents, but it's time to move on. Since those of you who paid close attention may noticed how easy it was for me to buy everything I want, and if you're curious how I got the money, well, I can demonstrate on this goblin who got a ring that I want. Basically I steal it, but not with the true sleight of hand. Creed Eastwood taking spotlight here, since he got nice strength, being barbarian, and he easily can take these little goblins like imaginary weapons, or like toys to be more correct, and take them on a trip. While goblin in his hands, I just use quick travel and boom, we change the place. Now we're just knocking down targets here and boom, I can take everything I want, even this awesome ring for more movement speed that will be useful for Sam's tiny legs, as I told you already. Oh, what an awesome strategy, but it's time to move on with this act, since I won't be able to reduce my critical hit threshold a lot. Anyway, there's important things and very powerful items that will be key for our success later, so that's why we spent a little bit more time doing all the steps. First of all, let's visit Burning House to save Floric and receive Spell Sparkler. truly one of the most overpowered magic stuffs in the whole game. Sam could save this guy from house also, but his tiny hands was not ready to move big wood columns. And as you can guess, I failed this task. Anyway, we can't safely travel in this location and got ambushed by a bunch of wolverines. I guess it's nice time to showcase how good our party is right now. Crit Eastwood starts by using Rage, and now he can use Tiger's Bloodlust to smash up to 3 enemies, while applying Bleed condition to all of them. No saving throws, just 100% chance. If he hits, they bleeds. And it's so easy to hit targets for him, because while he is raging, he can use Reckless Attack, which adds advantage, or in normal language, 1 more extra dice, which is 1 more extra chance to roll a hit or even crit. My mages can take a hit while giving away damage from Armor of Agathos and even retaliate back with other skills. And that's just reactions. Of course, we still can use spells and cantrips, but mostly we got carried by Crit Eastwood at this point. And with Sam crit a lot, of course. At this point, I clearly see where it all can go bad. So we're playing hardest difficulty, and I'm kinda not trying to min-max my characters to be ready for upcoming challenges. I'm just min-maxing my ability to land a crit, and in hope to land 100% of attacks as critical hits. And this can backfire, since fights are somewhat getting riskier and riskier. What will help me? Worm powers. Yeah, by consuming these little fellas, I can get nice abilities to aid me in battles. So now I can have 1 guaranteed critical hit per day. Not bad, let's see it in action. Since we found Karlach, the demon that we're trying to hunt, she took aggressive pose.
Touch me, and you'll regret it.
But it doesn't look like Sam actually listening. Turns out we don't even need this ability right now, since we rolled critical hit on 18. After going to sleep, Will's friend arrives, and I don't know if he actually likes her for this triple horn, or... Anyway, she brings a prize, a new outfit with level 4 pre-installed spell. If you don't know, level 4 spells unlock only at level 7+, so it's kinda far away from our current position, and is truly powerful item. And that's not only our visit for today. I got a fan of my circle art, and he brings his donation in form of cloak. It's very powerful artifact, by the way, and you'll see it in action later, since we got a bit more work to do. Recently I saved a bunch of black market traders from werewolves, and they told me location of their secret hideout. So I decided to visit it and show them few tricks. With minor illusion, I summoned a cat, and everyone was so amazed that missed how Sam lockpicked the door in the back of their hideout and got Abyss Buccaneers from the chest. This thing works for classes which summons creatures, so why the hell am I interested in it? Well, this is probably most important item to make my full party crit a lot, and that's crazy how broken it is. But for now, let's finish with this act. To do it, I need to get back into Goblin Camp, where I found my old friend Volo in a cage and instantly removed this goblin from existence to get a key. Was not able to chat with him nicely since one of the guards decided I'm not belong here, so I politely asked him to look closer and brought this dude into the room. Closed the door and, well, explained that he will never see me doing such an action again. By the way, as you can see, Sam turns invisible after landing final blow on any enemy. That's thanks for this awesome cloak that we just got. In the Goblin Camp there's a lot of closed doors, but not a lot of walls. It looks like someone decided to build a bigger house than money allows in The Sims. Anyway, I got access to secret room and it guarded by a big ogre. But since Will is great old one warlock, she's frightened and can't move, so only option left is to throw some rocks and get demolished by Eldritch Blast. I mean, arrow attacks. So let's see what this ogre guarded. Chest with amulet that gives Misty Staff, teleport ability, will come in handy in combat. And room with a puzzle. I don't know if this ogre actually guarded this room, or was too dumb to rotate platforms few times. and solve the puzzle to get access to this weird cave with insanely long ladder that leads to Underdark Selenite outpost, where I instantly destroyed Selûne's stones because Shadowheart is fan of Shar and she hates Selûne, and I want her to be my girlfriend, so it was kinda obvious decision, but also a mistake, since while I was looting this place, big Minotaur appeared. Turns out this stone actually protected the gates from Minotaur invasion, but he blasted through the unprotected entrance and now we got a brawl. My Surlocks drop in Hex Curse on him and he will take extra damage from their spells. On top of it, he was already injured, so we finished him in one turn. Then I went into exploration of this interesting place and found few more Minotaurs, who was defeated right away. And then this road led me into Mushroom Kingdom. This is Mushroom King and I'm Spot the King, so we need to help each other. Also he resurrects everyone, so probably his army is unkillable. I better keep him as my friend, I guess. And help him beat Druidguard dwarves near the river. Well, it will wait for a while, since first of all I want to buy this ring from local traders that will add damage to all my attacks, and since Sam is dual wielding, it will be added 2 times. But it's also not a coincidence that I'm exploring this place. Actually, I'm looking for a secret cave, and Will was first one who found it. However, he was not cautious enough and got blasted by fire mushrooms straight into this cave. He did not survive, by the way. And I decided to keep in mind how deadly this place is and to never do the same mistake. Well, I lied. Sam did exactly the same mistake because I was not able to move him since my vision was obscured by a rock. Imagine it was solo honor mod run. Anyway, I used Scrolls of Resurrection and got access to the secret cave. There's a bunch of fish boys worshipping Baal. Don't mess him with Baal, the god of death or whatever he is. Baal is a dumb gnome that made fish boys work for him, since they even dumber. But I'll use it to my own advantage. First of all, I'll show Cat for these fish boys, and they immediately changed religion. Honestly, most realistic cult behavior in this game. While they're busy, I sneak behind and steal Baal sickle from main fish priest, and then I lie a bit, but I promise to worship this gnome also. This gives my whole party ability to have advantage on attacks versus bleeding targets, and since Crit Eastwood got 100% chance to make target bleed, you see where it's going. Yeah, number I need to roll for critical hit is still 18, which is a 15% chance to roll a crit, but if I roll 2 dices and pick the best one, which is advantage, it's already almost 30%, or even more considering we reroll 1 as halfling. Not that bad, but we can move into next point of interest here, which is Arcane Tower. It's pretty deadly place to go unprepared, because it's guarded with arcane machine guns, but Will got bunch of support tools in his pockets, so he used extra jump and falling feather to get down, and blasted locked door with eldritch cantrip, while also noticing strange secret door, so he used mage hand that opens the door from another side, and then found pretty cool stuff that gives insane bonus to attack rolls for mages, great addition for Shadowheart. And we finally can get out of this cave sewers. We decided to investigate forest area, and even though fight was hard, having this burning blade definitely helps versus plants. So I'm glad Shadowheart succeed on this role in the opening level. While wandering here, we found a secret message that exposed Koga as Shadow Druid, so it's time to go and explain druids that she is evil person. But we are too injured, so it will wait until morning. Turns out, Koga is not only evil person here. This night, Sam found why Astarion never sleeps.
Shit.
Surprise, surprise, he is a vampire. No evil person in this camp.
No. Shit.
And Shadowheart approves.
Still, he's gone now.
Before we left for Druid Grove, I also found an interesting man. He was looking for Astarion, since he is a vampire hunter. Of course, he didn't believe that little Sam Critalot can take down Astarion on his own. This made Sam a little bit angry, and he showed him that now, when Crit Eastwood makes him bleed, Sam can crit a lot, with advantage. Let's praise Baal. And yeah, everyone gets this awesome perk forever. That's a great buff. I took crossbow as a trophy and went to Druid Grove to expose Koga. This turns into a brawl versus Shadow Druids, who is really powerful and can concentrate on Moonbeam until Sam crits a lot on them and breaks their concentration. Also, he got extra damage from Hex or Hunter's Mark and extra actions by being a fighter. Plus, Will got overpowered spell granted by Mizora's outfit that melts everyone who tries to attack. Sometimes he takes it a little bit too far by forcing everyone to attack him with opportunity attacks, but I got few revive scrolls, so it will work. At least Shadowheart playing carefully and using shield spell to avoid damage, while helping Will to get up until his fire protection spell wears off. Eventually we got level 5 and Sam got extra charisma for better damage and chance to hit. Crit Eastwood gets extra attack at level 5 and Shadowheart gets new spell, Fire Machine Gun. And Will on 3rd level of Shadow Sorcerer unlocks Darkness spell that we will instantly use on this idol, so Sam can hop in, steal it and instantly teleport out. By bringing this idol back to Mall, we get a ring with +1 armor class, which will help Shadowheart be tankiest hero among all of us. By the way, what do you think about me making next run with maximum armor class possible? Maybe, but now we will face maximum life possible in a single fight in Act 1. Probably. This 3 ogres is really beefy, but Crit Eastwood can attack 2 times, and Will can use double Eldritch Blast with a lot of power on his enemies, while Shadowheart will just fry them, and all of this with extra damage from Hex. Oh, finally, party gets some power, and this power is enough to face All Bear Couple and steal their egg. This egg costs a fortune. Remember it. But it was time to finish our main objective, getting rid of goblin leaders. One of them is Gut. She is standing right in the middle of Goblin Temple. I took her on a trip and we melted her in 1 turn. Next target is Mintara, and at the first I was going to play Hitman here by destroying Breach, but then I quickly remembered that I want her boots. So we took her out on a trip also. She got no problems with Princess Gut lying over here, but somehow she escaped while I was preparing with the Oil of Accuracy. Well, shit, here we go again. Next one was Dror Razglin, but if I get close to him, there will be a dangerous cutscene that can put Wall Camp into aggro mode. Turns out, he can't see invisible Crit Eastwood, and I easily snatched him also. As I told, it put everyone on alert, but since they a few maps away, fight ended. All goblins are aggressive now, but it's fine, since they just volunteered to be source of my experience bar. This amount of brawls eventually leads to a long rest, and I was so happy to see Wallo again, because he told me he knows how to remove worm from my eye, and I was so happy that I was too quick to auto-select supplies for my long rest and ate all bear egg. Well, we just ate a fortune, I guess. But at least next day Wallo arrived with the surgeon tools. Surprise, surprise. It's kinda same tools that Drew is using. I don't know, but medical service quality is a little bit outdated in Faerun. If I got no choice, let's see what he can do. He promised to remove the worm. He removed the eye. Close enough, both are wet and inside my head, but Wallo, being a gentleman and a nice person, gave me another eye that can see invisible creatures. It will work as apology, I guess. Anyway, after finishing those goblin bastards, I went back to Druid Grove, where all tieflings was happy and arranged a party, for some reason, in my camp. Well, I guess that's tieflings always do. Occupy space. And Shadowheart also does not like loud parties, so we went down the river together, and that's where a magic happened. Next morning, old druid leader came into my camp to explain that there's 2 ways forward, either through the Underdark, where I already was, or through mountains. I asked why not both, and he was not wise enough to give me an answer, so we went into tea house before going on a long journey. I found that fireplace in this tea house is not real, and upon investigation it turned out to be a trap of filthy heck. Well, we ran straight into imaginary fire pit, and my new girlfriend threw water to chill party a little bit, since fire was not imaginary. Down there we found one more imaginary wall with hack quartz right behind it, whom being demolished by our completely broken party. But this was another obstacle. long road down with bunch of traps that was completely avoided since we can long jump and safely land with feather fall thanks to Will. Here Hack keeps a lady as hostage, but our party sneaked in and removed trap from the lady. Then somehow Hack missed big orc jumping right in front of her. I guess H takes it, or she got so much mud in her eyes. Anyway, she started to fight by multiplying herself, and Shadowheart demultiplied her with a magic missile. Demultiplied. Is this an actual word? Well, I guess it is right now. Mr. Tiny Legs, I mean Mr. Sam Crit-a-Lot, was not able to get into melee range with real Hack, and was forced to use hamstring shot. What an awful decision, you may think. But just in a second, Hack picked up the trapped lady and transformed into her. Now I need to find the real one. It can be a difficult decision to pick who is the real person and who is the Hack, but maybe the one who is still affected by a hamstring. LOL. Of course, I instantly found the real Hack, and she decided to play tricks on me again by multiplying and saying, "Try find me now, brat." Well, if you're trying to confuse me, maybe you don't talk, stupid Hack. Since she revealed herself, I just focused her down, ignoring copies that suddenly made successful hold person rolls on the whole party. And technically she was in a position to completely melt us, but decided to just have a talk.
Wait! Wait just a tick!
She decided not to try her luck with mind games and just gave me a little bit of mud from her wig, which will add +1 charisma for better accuracy and damage for Sam. After getting out of Hack's lair, we found this lady again, and she was so happy that I got magic stick. Sorry lady, my heart is occupied with another person right now. And after this mind-blowing spectacle, we were finally moving towards mountains. On our way, I meet Kityanki, or how I call them, frogs. If you remember, I got one in my inventory, and that's why I dislike these creatures.
What easy prey you made.
But Sam was brave and lucky, so we moved through this place without a brawl. Unlike Lady Esther, who is trader in the next mountain area. Since she got a little bit of items I'm interested in, and I'm not interested in bartering, we just took everything we need by force. And use force to activate elevator that will take our party down to monastery, which is occupied by bunch of frogs. And as you know, I hate them. So we instantly removed bunch of them from equation and got access to their secret outpost. Guards here was kinda shocked that some little dude was able to get into sacred frog temple, but I convinced them that I'm unmatched killer and they need me. I didn't explain why they will need me, so they will find out soon. First of all, I visited shop, at least one adequate frog here that sells good stuff. Daredevil gloves for Will to be able to cast spells from melee range. Unseen Menace is insanely OP spear that will give advantage on attack rolls for Crit Eastwood, as well as lowering his critical dice by 1, so slowly but surely everyone lowering their crit or meter, but most importantly, Knife of Spot King. I mean Knife of Undermountain King will lower crit or meter for Sam, and we are sitting on 17 already. Next point of interest was in nearby room. There's a frog machinery called Zytisk, and it's supposed to remove a worm from my head, but there's so many worms that Zytisk removed itself. Main scientist was not happy with the damage her equipment have taken, but she was more disappointed that I'm stealing worms right in front of her. I told that I'm not stealing, and she decided I can be trusted. Yeah, it was that easy. I guess she don't need those worms anyway. And while I were asked to talk with leader of this outpost, I realized that I completely forgot to help my friend, Mushroom King. So we went back to Underdark and kindly explained those druidars that they need to go. With advantage party gets on bleeding targets, it's so easy to hit now, so there's at least a hit every time, and I can even keep Great Weapon Master passive on for insane damage at this point. Easy fight, back to colony, report to Mushroom King, and as always he got extra task for me. So he asked to take a boat and investigate Underdark further, to find Near. He is a bad dude. I took a boat and got ambushed by more druidars. Convinced them that I'm friend with intimidation, very nice way to convince anyone by the way, and upon arriving I got met by another druidgar that tried to make money for a tour to this place. Of course, it was a basic Underdark tourist scam that I haven't felt for, but I learned a lesson: never trust Druigars. Then we went into a little bit of exploration and found treasure chest, which turned out to be a mimic chest that ambushed us. It was a fun fight, where these boxes licked us like dogs. It feels like we are ambushed by a squad of fluffy pugs, something like this. And coolest part, inside one of these chests, there's a gloves that provides us with armor class. Very good for Shadowheart, since with all her bonuses right now, she got 21 AC, and that's basically unhittable target at this point. Then I spoke with a bunch of Druigars, and they told me that Nier is trapped, but he does not want to pay them, and we can be friends if I get him out and side with those Druigars to get money back from Nier. Well, it will work for me. First of all, let's get a bit of explosives, then remove this Witcher eye. It was funny. Look, guard, there's a cat. I don't know. Feels so fun to make this stuff. Anyway, let's move on forward. Okay, I lied. One more time. Oopsie. Dude, don't worry, no need to overreact. Gotcha! Now really, let's get Nier out. So I put down explosives, blow them up with a nice fireball from Shadowheart, and guess what? Druigars decided that fire is not that dangerous. Step in and get damaged. And boom, now I'm the one who's guilty. Lol. Okay, you'll regret it, stupid Druigars. Shadowheart instantly unleashed with barrage of fire rays, followed by one more since she is sorcerer and got access to quicken spell that gives ability to cast spells with bonus actions. Will created darkness and now whole party can stay inside protected while having advantage on attack rolls and giving enemy disadvantage. This means they roll 2 dice, but instead of picking the best one, they pick the worst one and constantly miss. Some of them are so clueless that they just stand AFK. This fight could actually end this run if we fought all the dwarves and Nier at the same time. But my strategy turned Nier into healer that just throws healing potions at AFK dwarves and stones at us. If you remember, Volo practiced with his surgeon skills on me and apologized with a new eye that can see invisible creatures. It came in very handy here, since by accident I revealed Hydo's dwarf and Will instantly took an action against this sneaky dude. Overall, this fight turned out to be extremely easy, and after finishing, we could back into Frog Citadel. But I decided to stay for a while and found Forge, where I dropped a little bit of ore and shield mold. But it was a bit too old and rusty that instead of making me piece of equipment I needed, summoned large robot. Fight is not super easy, but I lured him into the middle and sacrificed Creed Eastwood to smash this piece of metal. Luckily, with my new amulet, he can auto-stabilize by the end of his turn, and after a few more smashes, we get this new and shiny shield for Will that will protect him from critical hits, so he can keep darkness longer and safer. This means it's time to visit Frog Temple finally. But inside, Shadowheart found out that frogs likes wolves, and Shadowheart got wolfophobia, so she acted by pure reflexes and threw a fireball at them, and others followed her lead. Hey dude, sorry, but you picked a wrong door this time. After melting a bunch of frogs here, I got a stone to open a path to Pinnacle Frog boss. He is staying in the end of this ancient fort, but instead of having a chat, I sneaked in, and now, the moment where we finally get a use of this bottle bought from Volo. Yeah, bottle of grease, don't know, but it feels like Volo actually carrying wall run. Anyway, I threw bottle into statue, rotated it few times, and boom, secret door. Meanwhile, Eastwood also sneaked into another room and snatched awesome amulet that will improve Shadowheart damage. Another thing that I want lies in this elegant chest, which looks more like a trash bin, but whatever. I definitely can't just take it from here, because it will be theft. But what if I just move it a bit? Oh, also not fine. Oh, but since you stole it, I guess I'll move you a bit. And now, stealing from a stealer? Yeah, it works. So after getting all the stuff that I need from the frog hideout, you may think we will engage into a big brawl. But no, all party members went back into mountains for an awesome view, while meanwhile Sam went into hidden secret room. and by following trials he managed to get into chamber with insane reward. Not that I need this reward, but it's a shiny mace, so why not to take it? Well, it turns out I can't just take it since it's trapped, and we are in a kinda bad situation. Luckily I got Scroll of Dimensional Door and was able to go through the barrier. Let's see if I can destroy these cannons in 4 turns. I guess it doesn't look like a good idea, so let's run. Should I tell frog guys that they hide out in the danger? Nah, never mind, I guess there's no point now. After watching this beautiful view of exploding frogs, we reached level 8 before going into Shadowlands, and Sam became Ranger, while Crit picked levels in Fighter, and Will picked bunch of support spells like Daylight, and Shadowheart focused on fire spells and utility like Misty Step. With all the preparations done, we are going into Shadow-Cursed Lands, where we met by the Goblin. She gave me instructions to grab a torch, and I took a little bit too straightforward, I guess, so we grabbed the torch from her. And since everyone agreed that this place is too scary, Will and my heart agreed to eat a bunch of worms too. We followed the road and met bunch of orcs and goblins. They asked to play a tune, and Sam, as a man of art, did exactly what they asked for. But beautiful music attracted scary spider creature. I definitely feel an ambush here, but Shadowheart felt it a little bit faster and instantly reacted like she always do, with a fireball. It kinda started a fight, but also ended at the same time, because low-life goblins can't survive fireballs. Will summoned his new Shadow Dog friend, which will help a bit in the battles by taking some aggro of him. But most importantly, his utility spell set with counterspell completely nullified Sanctuary from Spider, which could make him unhittable, and therefore he was destroyed in the darkness. This spider used a lantern, by the way, which is a prison for little pixie that I freed up, and she gave me blessing, so I no longer need an awful torch in this place. I guess it's enough for today and we can rest for a while. Well, I was wrong. I guess it's enough for a rest. These dreams are so weird. Why Sam dreams of himself? Whatever. Next day we arrived into Last Light Inn, which is tavern surrounded by magic barrier, protecting everyone in this place. Welcome was not so pleasant, but we are here not to make friends. First of all, I need to buy few interesting items, like Cloak of Protection from Tali, Sword of Lifesteal from Daemon, so I finally got nice weapons and not goblin scimitars that I used till this point. But more importantly, look who's made it that far. Alfira! And she's still using the same makeup that I made, so kind of her. She's a bit disappointed that her friends does not made it, but I will try to fix it later, since Alfira will reward us with an interesting present. Anyway, other items I need here is not on traders and will need to work a bit for them. For example, one really broken head in the cow. Yeah, I meant inside the cow. This head will give me Arcane Equity, which is insanely broken buff, and you'll see why later. But I also want to visit cellar of this tavern. It was kinda abandoned, but it's fine since it makes it easier to go through the walls, literally. But also it makes a good place for scary Minlags to hide, and they actually looking closely for an only way in. But if I put darkness over here, they can't see anything, and we are free to just stand and bombard them until fight starts. If you are curious why I'm so scared of these little beetle demons, or whoever they are, look here. They can easily paralyze me, which will make all attacks critical hits, and they can easily end my adventure, but in darkness my party shines. At least everyone beside Crit Eastwood, since he don't have dark vision and that's why he felt outside of the darkness. Anyway, one of these Minlags got helmet that will lower critical number if I'm in the dark. And well, I plan to always fight in the dark from this point, so we are officially dropping our crit-o-meter down to 16. Further down the cave, I found a chest with a coruscation ring that will make Shadowheart debuff enemies so they will have penalty on attack rolls, which in combination with disadvantage they already have in the darkness will make it impossible to hit anyone in my party. perfectly balanced, I would say. And we are kinda finished here. So let's go to another major city in the area, called Moonrise Towers. Here I got greeted by a lot more friendlier people than in Last Light Inn. Don't know how it works, but guys in the tavern told me these guys are evil. And I see only nice traders that sell cool glaives that will give me ability to buff my attacks. Some lotions and potions petal, and rings that will give protection from being paralyzed. Would come in handy in previous fight, but it's fine. Fun fact, if I bring Astarion over here, Arasha Bloodra can make a potion for permanent strength bonus, but as you can remember, Astarion can no longer visit this place, since he is a filthy vampire traitor. But you can check another run where I tried to max out strength, and he was a key for success. Anyway, while everything looked good, there was a surprise. Mintara alive? Don't know how it happened, I definitely remember she should not be alive, maybe it's like a twin. Whatever, she is in a little bit of trouble and I was not good at dice this time to save her, so she went into prison anyway. But she is not one person here to refuse to die. Meet Ketrick, Emperor of Moonrise Towers, or Lord, or whoever he is. Anyway, he is unkillable and that's why he is so bold. So I decided to stick with him and got orders to investigate where his crazy necroscientist is missing. It's fine, but first of all, let's not forget about our most important task over here. I need to get into prison quickly, and don't ask me why Sam is running like Wilma from Scooby-Doo. I haven't found Mintara down here, but I don't need her anyway, so I guess she's out. But there's a bunch of gnomes, and I guess they can help me get tieflings out. Won't be able to find out since guards are watching. Well, maybe you will watch on my cat instead? No? Fine, you can investigate what's down there. Another guard was a bit more interested in my cat, but then he also decided to check what's in the pit. I thought we finally can chat with gnomes, and they asked for tools, but the main guard came and decided that I'm a traitor. But honestly, I don't know who is the real traitor, the one who tries to help prisoners or the guy who left his workplace because they are obsessed with cats. And therefore I politely asked main guard to ask them first. There was 2 Watcher Eyes over here, which is kinda ancient security system, and if I won't be able to turn them off in a single turn, all Moonrise Towers will come down here to destroy me. There's a catch, they can't be damaged by any damage beside Thunder. Luckily Shadowheart got Thunderball spell and removed one of them. And second camera ball was a good basketball, and Crit Eastwood became Steph Curry for a second. Now we're finally free to give gnomes tools they need, and turns out they need a mace. I got only one shiny mace, but okay, I'll give it up. If only they knew how many frogs died in order for this mace to appear here. Anyway, gnomes held their word and freed up tieflings, so we took a boat and went straight into tavern. Well, Fira was so happy that she got her friend back that she gave me everything she had, even her OP dress, that adds a lot of damage to our cantrips and extra survivability. Now it was time to investigate territory outside of main villages, and I went into House of Healing first, which is kinda medical university over here. I asked what's going on here, but hostess was so stoned that she stayed and talked with no one for a while, which gave me ability to sneak in and see how guys over here learn to become surgeons. Well, they definitely use better tools than druids, but there's so many students and only one patient to practice their skills, so I made an obvious proposal to practice on each other. They thought it's a brilliant idea and started to do exactly this. Professor was a little bit smarter and decided not to practice on himself. Instead, he treated this as an insult and became aggressive. We quickly chilled him and got his amulet. It gives ability to paralyze humanoids on critical hit. May not sound like a very important piece, but it will be a very important piece later. Actually, there's a trader in a House of Healing and I was wandering around doing long rests to refresh trader stocks and check all of them every time to finally get elixirs I need. They can be in every trader stock and it's elixir of viciousness, which will lower my critical hit by 1 once again. This means now if I roll 15, it's guaranteed critical hit. Considering I attack with advantage always, crits appear multiple times each fight, and it's so satisfying. And don't forget, if I crit, it means I hit, no matter what. But I'm here exploring for an important reason, because behind House of Healing there's a House of Healing Morgue, and in the far end of it there's a door which can be easily unlocked to find a chest where we will get Eversight Ring. While most of my party can see through the darkness, Crit Eastwood can't, but from now on he will be never blinded, and he can join our dark forces. And what is a better place for dark forces than Temple of Shar that I visited soon? It's supposed to be a trial for those who can be sneaky, but I brute forced my way where the skeleton asked for help. The skeletons are servants of this necro-scientist that I was asked to find by Ketrik, so we are on the right track. But they getting ambushed by dark justiciars, and I lent a hand and cleared all of the evil guys. What I got in exchange? Another betrayal. After opening the door to Balthazar, skeletons decided to fight me. They didn't last long, of course. And my duty was to report Balthazar that he is bad at his job. I did it by casting Extended Darkness so it lasts for 20 turns, then I showed all those stupid zombies my cat, and I guess they like cats. But Shadowheart decided they will like Fireball a little bit more. Well, they didn't, so she tried to serve it better once again with Quicken Spell. Eastwood managed to hit them even while staying inside the darkness, since he got insane reach with this long spear, and Sam just finished everyone who's still standing with critical hits that rained one after another. And no one was even able to land a hit on us, since we are affected by darkness and they are affected by radiating orb from Shadowheart. Fight finished on a beautiful note by rolling 15 on a dice, which resulted in a critical hit. So build is definitely working, but let's not forget about another broken mechanic that Shadowheart got from her head. By attacking with fire spells, she got a bunch of arcane acuity charges, which gives spell difficulty check and attack roll bonus. So she basically can hit with almost 100% chance, but also land control spells with almost 100% chance when affected by those buffs. That's pretty cool, but let's remember why we are here in the first place. There's a secret room where I need to get, but to gain access we need to collect 4 orbs. One of them is sitting in the middle of a room, and it looks like a free grab, but there's only one thing that is free in this world, which is cheese in Mousetrap. Definitely we are not falling for this, and by going on top of these ruins we found an ambush. Well, guess who's ambushing now? To surprise these bastards, I decided to drop a bunch of bombs, but turns out big fella is too strong and he can't be surprised, so he retaliated with a thunderous shotgun shot that my party barely survived. Will stayed on top, but started to miss his attacks while trying to at least make survival possible by staying in the darkness. Crit Eastwood forgot everything he knew and started to miss all 3 targets staying right in front of him. At least Will's dog took some aggro, that gave opportunity to land final critical hits for Will. That he landed, but only as normal hits, that made Jurgir laugh. And drop hundreds of bombs around. Since those can inflict force damage, it can be a solution to finally finish this fat demon. I just needed to move them a little bit and then throw some fire to detonate. Yeah, it worked. But turns out his warriors got same plan in mind. Displacer Beast teleported Shadowheart right in the middle of minefield, and those crazy Legion dudes started to throw bombs left and right. In less than 1 turn I lost all my party members. They were not just downed, they were completely evaporated. So Sam got no other choice other than running away, trying to save his life. Luckily, he succeeded in this task, and back in camp after chatting with Mr. Skeleton, whole party was back to live. Well, our coin purse got a little bit thinner, since lives of these useless team members cost 200 coins each. I guess we need to live with it, but we need 3 more gems. To get them, we'll need to face challenges, but Shadowheart kinda embrace it, since it's Shar challenges, and she's kinda Shar fun girl. First task is to be super sneaky, and she carefully went through labyrinth, taking shortcuts through the window and barely avoiding a guard sight. Showed some mastery in lockpicking and got 1 more gem for us. Second trial was complete mess. We need to face ourselves, well, kinda super beefed up versions of ourselves with the same gear, and they gave us a lot of troubles, but even if we are almost dead, having number advantage and ability to pick each other up played to our favor, and finished this gaining one more gem. Next trial is really risky. We need to go through the labyrinth, but stepping just a little bit off teleports Shadowheart back. Well, if only that. After few attempts, or when we try to cheat by jumping, Shadowheart will instantly die. Yeah, luckily I got a bit of resurrection scrolls and another strategy. So I casted light and then started to teleport into safe ground with Misty Step. This kinda renders off the scary darkness, which can insta-kill Shadowheart, and she completed the trials in a few seconds. It is last gem that we need, but there's one more room. In this library, after beating a ball in the middle and bunch of guards, we took a book that explained some stuff about Night Song and threw it into pedestal. Too much security for a library with a bunch of books, yeah? You're goddamn right. It's actually a secret room with awesome gear, and we will need it after descending down to a sacred pool. That's the place we get access to after slotting all the gems. But I decided to take a little trip back to Moonrise Towers. Since people are not aware that I'm coming for them, they are not on guard. I took wall plays down and got level 9. Which is kinda disappointing, because bunch of previous decisions cost me a lot of XP and I could already be around level 10. But it is what it is, so nothing crazy here. Sam continue Ranger Road, Eastwood becoming champion fighter to lower his crit-o-meter, and Will with Shadowheart continue as Sorks. Also, there is one more thing I want to do before going down into deep waters. Touching these plagues one by one in the middle of shadow-cursed lands, and after full circle, secret passage appears. There's 3 statues that can boost spellcasting attributes by 5 until long rest, but since all my characters is charisma based and I decided to put a face into Will's hands, he succeeded on a roll and will be my main blaster, if I can survive without long rests. Back to the pool, where Shadowheart decided to take a little break, and down we go. Straight into even more cursed place, where we descended into arena in the middle with only one lady standing there. Probably she is the reason why this place is so cursed. She tried to explain something, but we are here not to listen, said Shadowheart, and instantly ended her attempts to brainwash us. It was a great decision, and Shadowheart got new outfit for free, that we don't need anyway. But it's free, so who cares? This action triggered chain reaction, and our lovely tavern lost all the electricity. I guess nothing to see here now, so we went straight to Moonlight Towers, and guess what? There is no one here to welcome us either, and we got free access straight to the top. Finally, a warm welcome. Well, kind of warm, since Kettrick is mad because the lady that we met in the pool were feeling his immortality. Well, no more. So we stayed in the middle, inside the darkness, and melted everyone here, even Kettrick. And remember, told you it was a warm welcome. Well, technically it was warm welcome, and this worm was Kettrick's friend, so he ran away. By the way, what do you think about these cutscenes? They look amazing while characters inside the darkness. Anyway, down we go again, or I would better say back to the beginning. Looks like we are in some S situation again, but at least we are more powerful and melt everyone fast without consuming resource. Even our old friend Brain Us here, so we have freed him up and here right now in a party. Also, we found another room protected by angry brains. Here lies Will's friend Mizora, so we freed her up.
Ta-ta.
Rebuffed with everything we can, used this restoration pot, which kinda applies effect of long rest, but at the same time does not count as one, so Will keeps his buff. And we can go down, where at the bottom we found 3 persons.
Edict of Bane.
The lash of Thor.
The testament of Merkel.
And these 3 guys keeping 3 stones, as you can see, that I need to get. Since 2 of them instantly left, we left only with Kettrick, and I used jumping buffs from Will and adjusted starting positions. Gave myself and little brain an edge by using invisibility potion, and started fight by attacking Calamari. He is pretty powerful and annoying person. Everyone was surprised, but also myself, since I forgot to read a book in tower and can't put Kettrick into second form before the fight, which can make things a little bit more manageable. I decided it will be a good idea to ambush Skeleton Squad with a dog. Made my attacks, and on the next turn, where everything goes kinda according to the plan, Eastwood landed not enough damage on Calamari and got charmed. I don't know if it's his weird fetish or he just likes the seafood aroma, but now he can't attack. While Shadowheart made a lot better job rendering Skeleton Squad out of this combat, and Sam landed massive crits on Ketrick, but got retaliated with a shield bash and fallen flat. While Ketrick used bunch of smites on his turn and Sam left only with 4 health. Will finished Ketrick, but of course we got some troubles, since he decided to make a dish, soup with himself, which turned him into big skeleton monster. And that's where things started to fall apart. Crit got stunned by his beloved octopus friend. Shadowheart understood that if she takes a turn, Merkel, that name of this big monster, will retaliate with powerful ability, but we got no choice, so she carefully aimed fireball and struck the monsters, getting damaged for almost half of her health and being frightened at the same time. Sam tried to heal, but just lost action, since you can't heal in the middle of the zone, and topped down this fail with hit that dealt only 4 damage, followed by 3 misses. What a loser. I guess he's a little bit scared, and he definitely should be, since Merkel ended him in a single strike. To have a better chance for survival, Will used Darkness, and at least he can land nice crits with good damage. But while all eyes in the middle of arena, something weird happening behind. There's cocoons ready to unleash undead army, and we're definitely on the clock. So I decided to focus on bringing Merkel down. Cocoons unleashed next turn, and while skeletons is not a big problem, and we can fight a boss more or less safe, especially I can use shield spell to avoid attacks on recently brought back to life Sam. But Merkel also got bunch of tricks in his pockets, like ability to avoid bunch of damage and to make some abilities deal literally 0 damage, but also when skeletons get close he can eat them, replenishing his life. Everyone finished their turn. Crit Eastwood won't even be able to take any other turn because he's dead, and skeletons getting ready to arrive and fully hit Merkel. It's really our last chance to finish him off, and this chance lies in the hands of our tiny captain. Sam crit a lot. Come on, little buddy, show me all those struggles we went through was not wasted. And boom, crit, yeah. Okay, let's do it. Let's drink a risky potion of speed for 1 extra action. And boom! Crit! Jeez! We're making this, guys. He's so low. But normal hit is not enough, I guess. I got only 1 last chance. If damage is not enough, he will fully heal and destroy me, and run will be over. So, let's see. Oh, yeah, 5 crits in a row. That's Sam crit low. Woo. After this crazy fight, we finally can go to the place with ultimate challenge, the Baldur's Gate. On our way we saved Octopus from frogs and he gave us Super Maggot. This can improve our worm powers. Nice to have it on Act 3, I guess. Also somehow Jaheira survived that madness in the Shadowlands and even thinks that we are friends. Alright, who cares? Since after arriving to Baldur's Gate I showed my squad my new ability, Slayer Form. It actually is so cool, but Shadowheart will need to do the talking now. So what's so cool about this form? It can cause bleeding and then do crazy multi-attack with extra damage on bleeding targets, while having nice synergy with our party. I need to actually stay away from this form, since it will make my cubed items unusable and won't be able to crit on 15 like we do right now. But just in case you know that it's possible to become Big Zerling. In this form, Sam was still able to land juicy critical by the end of the battle, and party was so amazed that they decided to keep their powers kinda matched to the captain. So Shadowheart was convinced to free her mind to the Super Maggot and get your superpowers too. Will also decided to open his mind, but was a little bit hungry, I guess. Anyway, it worked, and now all of us can fly, beside Eastwood, since he is just a vessel. City is nice and bright, but definitely not welcoming at all. We are instantly got in a brawl, and this really shows how hard this part will be. Basic enemies have more life than bosses in previous acts, while being immune or resistant to bunch of damage types. Fight was just an introduction to a city, but we already lost almost every member. So it's time to make some optimizations, since we finally reached level 10. Sam became Gloomstalker, so we have better chances to start battle, and have extra attacks, while spellcasters unlocked spell sniper feat, lowering their crit meter. Oh yeah, now everyone should crit a lot, while Eastwood will never be surprised. I guess that's fair. Anyway, look how OP Gloomstalker is, especially with this setup. I can fly, remove enemy fast with bunch of attacks, and become invisible. Then ambush another person, and when his friend will try to fight me, he won't. So fight will end and I start new one instantly getting one more free attack. And all of those sources of extra damage also hitting for double amount. Oh, that's crazy. But before going into the main city, we got work to do. First of all, we went downhill straight to the shore. There was a guy crying for help and I helped him. With my knife, since I knew it was Orin playing mind games with me. But she was not most dangerous creature on the shore. Turns out there's a bunch of traps and I was not so good in disarming those, which almost resulted in end of the run. What a shame it would be, but we survived. And found angry little guy arguing with big dude by the end of the beach. Well, you know whom I'm helping.
You picked the wrong side, cock.
Slice them now!
Darkness helped to survive range attacks, but this time it helped my enemies. To balance this issue, Sam made critical hit in 5 out of 6 hits. Perfectly balanced, I would say, and this fight ended fairly quickly. Now I can go and check what's going on outside of the city. There's an elephant detective who likes to drink wine instead of working. So we were forced to do his lazy-ass job by going into nearby building and finding list of assassination targets. Well, at least this lazy-ass gave me a pass to main city. That's where we went. And first stop was market on the main square, where I bought that shot. The bow that lowers crit meter by 1 again. So, we can crit on 14 right now. What a cheating. Now, remember little guy that we helped just a minute ago? He is a member of the guild, and he's supposed to give me free pass to the guild hideout. So I went in, but this stupid orc does not recognize me, and told me that I could come in, but could not leave. Well, fine to me, you're not leaving either, since he possesses a ring that I need to drop inside the socket to enter the guild. Well, there's a little dude over here who is named Sticky Dondo, and he sells Shade Slayer Cloak, which lowers crit meter by 1 again. So I can crit on 13 if I'm hiding, and I can easily hide every turn with bonus action since I'm Gloomstalker. Funny fact that it makes my critical hit chance 35%, and with advantage that I always have, it's more like 70%. Anyway, by going into town we agreed to investigate murders, and we definitely see a murderer in the red outfit called Baldur on a wine party. I could engage with him instantly, but I decided to get back into camp with Shadowheart for a minute to attack a bunch of rotten vegetables. What's the point to attack rotten vegetables, you may ask me? Look here. Every time Shadowheart attacks rotten vegetables with fire spells, she gets charges of arcane equity. And now by going back to town, I keep all the charges, getting almost 100% chance to activate Hold Person on him, which I did, and now Sam lands critical hit with 100% chance, completely melting this person right here in a wine bar. We got a password for secret chamber, as well as bag of hands. I guess it will come in handy later. Then I visited Helsik in Devil's Fee, and by paying her 20k I got an option to pay more for her secret items like this cloak, which will make spellcasters' life easier, because we are going to face a tough challenge since we know password for this secret door now. That leads into Murder Tribunal, where we see Saravak, who is kinda secret evil underground king of murder or something like this. Anyway, he is kinda our friend right now. However, I'm in this place mostly with self-serving motive. First of all, I need to prove that we are on the same side by cutting this lazy elephant in half. He completely forgot that he should serve the city and investigate bad stuff, so that was not a problem. Then we got a pool of cherry juice, and Sam loves cherry juice, so that was kinda it for ceremony.
There is nothing more I can teach you.
So, if there is nothing left for you to teach me, I'll teach you a bit. But before, let me quickly buy these craterfish gloves, which will add a lot of damage on top if I crit. And it's also damage rider, but without technical D&D language, these gloves basically will not only add damage on crit, but also all add other modifiers and will self-multiply as bonus damage. Pretty crazy stuff for a crit build. Sadly, there's only one pair in this game, and I need to pick best party member to wear those. Don't worry, we'll figure out it later. But also, this guy sells cool body armor for Sam, that will make everyone vulnerable to piercing damage. First of all, let's remove old Cervok from the city. Not only because he is evil, but also because he got something that I need. I basically threw darkness and melted him in one turn. Now all his servants are gone and I can freely get his helmet. That will make numbers that I need to roll for critical hit lower by 1. It however won't change crit or meter, since my helmet already provides this bonus but only if I'm in shadows. Now I always will have this bonus, so that's cool and it also looks cool. Eventually we got level 12, so I picked bunch of feats on Sam, like Savage Attacker to roll better damage and Alert to start first in most combats. For spellcasters, I added Insect Plague, which is a weird spell that you probably never seen, but it deals piercing damage, and Sam makes everyone vulnerable with the new armor, so I think it's kinda fun strategy and synergy. While Eastwood also got Savage Attacker for better damage, but also finished his leveling with 9 levels in Barbarian, to roll 1 more dice on crit, and while being Orc he already rolls 1 more, so technically each crit he not just doubling damage but quadrupling it. And we can finally lower Critometer a little bit more by going into Baal Temple. Here I will need to face Orin in PvP, since it turned out that I'm a son of Baal. Yeah, who is a god of dash and Orin is just a wannabe, so we agreed on a duel to find out who is the real servant of Apocalypse. And this duel can be very hard and brutal, but I got a plan. So look, I start by casting Hex on her. She instantly teleports to give me few hits, but that's fine, since I'll just make attack, with guaranteed critical hit thanks for my Worm power. And because I got Amulet from second act, she will be paralyzed for 2 turns. I guess 1 will be more than enough for me, because every hit now is a crit and amount of extra damage that I inflict on top is just insane. Orin fallen and I became Baal chosen. Well, our party is already consists of Baal chosen members, so I guess if one of us will serve 2 religions, it won't hurt. And most importantly, I got Orin's dagger, which will reduce numbers that I need to roll for critical hit by 1, so our crit meter is officially at 12. Yeah, you heard it right. If I roll 12 or higher, I crit, and with advantage it's almost 90% critical hit chance. What's more funny is that if I use same build, but cast spells with spell sniper feat, we can lower this critometer down to 11, and that's almost lowest number we can get normally in the game. But I'm Spot, and we're not stopping here. Some of you may already noticed that Will and Shadowheart got kinda same looking body armor. Secret is, it's actually the same armor. So, by going into camp and creating new hireling that I change class into Trickery Domain Cleric and get 2 levels in it, followed by Wizard that can summon pet with a spell, I can do funny stuff. Basically, I'm going into corner of the camp, so we're not disturbing everyone, and creating Familiar. Now, as another character, I throw Speed Potion nearby and hide. Then with Wizard, Cleric, Hireling, I equip Buccaneer gloves that we got from Act 1. Remember, I told you how important these gloves are to make our whole party crit every time. So yeah, that's the secret. With these gloves active, Pet can go mad and start combat. While in combat, I cast Invoke Duplicity from Trickery Domain Cleric on area with a potion, and wait a little bit until Hastened triggers, which gives this illusion action points. And if it have actions, I can pickpocket from it. And do I need to remind you, it's not my party member, but just a clone. So just like that, I equipped whole party with most OP items needed to min-max the critical hit chance, and everyone got those broken crit gloves, so there is no fight for them either. But if you forgot, I'm Spot, and rolling critical hit on 11 is not enough for me. I want to actually crit on every attack if it's possible, and we are coming pretty close for this awesome ability. One of the interesting options is visiting Cazador Palace, because he got what we need. And he is a vampire, so he is a bad, and we won't feel guilty for taking things from him by force. So I went to his palace, and after solving bunch of puzzles and melting his dogs, party entered dungeon ready to fight. But since he is a vampire, I started by planting Big Sun in center of arena by casting Daylight spell. He is hypersensitive, so he is instantly went into aggro mode and started combat. Sam hit hard and broke him down to half of his health. He tried to cast powerful Cold Lightning spell on our party, but luckily Will specialized in supportive combat and nullified it by casting counter spell. Cazador decided to stay away from Sam, but it was not a great decision, since Eastwood made him bleed, and Shadowheart just barraged everyone with crits from her machine gun. The rest of the opposition is quite easy, so we used our new spells and had a lot of fun melting those guys. Just look at these damage numbers we'll output with full set. There's multiple rows of damage just by using one single spell, and in the end we opened Cazador like Russian nesting doll, and finally got our hands on the awesome knife. I will show it on Will for now, but later, as you know, Shadowheart will also same copy of the same toy. So look, this dagger called Rhapsody, and it passive says that I can get +1 to spell attack rolls after each killed creature up to 3 times. Now, after removing bunch of vampires from the battlefield, I stacked it and can benefit from better chance to hit enemies. Or I can consume this bonus once per long rest to make next attack to be a critical hit. Here's the fun part. If I use it as a weapon, it will make one attack crit and removes its buff, but it also works on spells that use attack rolls or cantrips like Eldritch Blast, and if I use them, bonus is not removed and actually stays for 2 turns, so I can just spam enemies with 100% critical hit, and that's so broken. So I showed bunch of bad guys my power after I left this cursed vampire tomb. But we can take our Critometer even further, so as you can see, we have loads of fun with Gortash here. Well, I guess he's not having fun anymore, and I will just take his stone to take all 3 of them into a boat ride. That will lead us to the Nether Brain, the pinnacle boss of Baldur's Gate 3. Sam crits a lot, landed critical roll even here on ability check, to pressure this giant flying piece of squid, which teleports us back to Baldur's Gate, but everything on fire. Well, as we are, so here's what's going on. First of all, I agreed to become Octopus myself, but there's a reason of course. Look here, since I'm also Baal chosen, whole party gets this buff that lowers critical number down by 2, and Critometer is officially at 9. And now about the squid form. It gives advanced worm abilities, and one of them is Fierce Perlicious Stakes, that will make base critical number down to 15 instead of 20, while active. So with this ability and all other bonuses that already lower my crit number by 11, Critometer officially getting down to 4. Yes, if I roll 4, it critical hit. That's crazy. If I roll 1, I reroll, so technically only 2, and 3 will be non-critical hits. We are officially at 99.9% critical hit chance, and let's test this out. Oh my god. Rolled 7 and this is crit. Jeez. Just look at this craziness. Will just crits with every hit. I mean, everyone rolls just crits. Game decided to show me stairs instead of how brutal I destroy my enemies. Anyway, I got enough charges for my party and approached final arena, pre-buffed with a few stacks of stakes and entered zone. Okay, I guess let's start with Mine Sanctuary, so we get a bit of extra actions. This fight is actually a lot harder when we are in full party here, because there's a lot more squid clones, and they're kinda OP. Now let's make it darkness, and I hope no one will counterspell now. Yeah, we're okay. Okay, I don't know, but if this dog can get to the dragon, it would be awesome. He will retaliate with Massive Strike into this attacker, and I want this attacker to be dog. Ah, jeez, barely enough. I should have used Long Strider before the fight. Let's attack those squids, I guess. Nice one! And he is frightened. Oh, I can do that? Okay, free cast. And quicken spell. And Ice Storm on this part of squids to slow them also. Let's hope Dragon won't kill us. Whoa! He's stunned? Oh my god. I never knew you can stun him with the spell. How it works? I guess I'll take it. Shadowheart, your turn, my lady. Nice, those crits. And now Sam crits a lot. Oh yeah, this dude definitely crits a lot. I mean, if I roll 8 and this is crit, I take it. Let's actually stay in range for now. He also can Eldritch Blast. Oh, triple crit again. And the final arrow. Oh my gosh. How much damage we just did. Still, I got no idea how I'll end this stun. But whatever. I guess it's time to get rid of those squids. Guys, do I even need this guaranteed crit ability? I don't know how good this idea was, but I'm using Nurilna right now to have nice throwing weapon on Eastwood, and it definitely works. Now, the only question, will this crown do anything? Looks like it won't, at least for now. I don't know what you guys think, but this build is kind of weak throughout the round, but now it actually shines when we roll crit every time. Let's not forget I can use dash 2 times here and get straight to the crown. Oh, I guess it was a mistake. Oh, this thing hits hard. Okay, Eastwood, your turn. Get rid of this calamari squad. Wait. I guess let's start with the darkness for safety. Oh shit. That's why I hate them. But at least I lured 2 counter spells from them. Now counter this stupid octopus. It's weird saying this by playing Calamari myself, but I guess we're fine. And it looks like they're out of counter spells. Shadowheart, your turn. 100% crit. And bam 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 bam! Oh my goodness. That's why she's my GF. Okay, we should be safe to land globe to protect us. Yeah. I still was a little bit nervous about counter spells, but anyway, it's time to activate Crown. Only 1 Calamari left. I guess we'll be fine. Jeez! How you failed those saving throws? Who is stunned now? Eastwood, Will, and Doc. Okay, it is what it is. Oh, good news! Brain is weakened from my critical roll on ability check before endgame. Bad news, we got only 2 party members here and only 5 turns left to finish this thing off. Let's go, Shadowheart! Boom! Okay, even if I lose this fight, it looks so satisfying. Now Brain got protection from fire, so Shadowheart kinda skips this turn. Come on, Sam, good job! Crits raining. Okay, we got a problem. It's technically last turn, and Brain destroyed all panels from which party was able to hit him. And now even distant spell I can't cast haste on Sam. Just we're in trouble. As Baal chosen, I will be able to use this power word kill, but need to bring Brain down to 100 life. So I need a crit. Let's see if build actually succeeds. And the idea was good. Oh yeah, that was nasty. I can cheat with this thing, but I don't know, guys. Do you believe in Sam? Sam crit a lot. Do you believe he can land 1 last crit? I do. Let's try it. Oh my, that was beautiful. But that was not last crit. Everyone wants me to finish the Brain, but as Baal's servant, I will need to give Shadowheart last kiss and 1 last crit.